Hey there, Sosakai here. Welcome to another chapter review of Astro Royal. This time, we'll be going over chapter 2. But before we continue, I want to go over a small recap. In the previous chapter, we were introduced to Hibaru, Terasu, and a few of their adopted siblings. We were also shown that their father had died and they held a funeral, which at the funeral they found out through the father's will that he had appointed a successor. And hearing that he had selected Terasu made everyone upset, but we later found out that Hibaru had lied and just named Terasu the successor because he didn't feel right for the position. And during the conversation, a meteor had crashed in the middle of the city and caused destruction throughout and basically gave Terasu his power. He had passed out after seeing the destruction, which leads us into this chapter. And with that out to the side, let's continue. The chapter begins with Hibaru waking up from his slumber, where he sees Terasu sitting nearby patiently waiting. After some time has passed, Terasu tells Hibaru that he's been out for quite a while, 2 weeks to be exact, and that while he's been out sleeping, Terasu has took care of him and he had nothing to worry about. When leaving their place, Hibaru notices more of the destruction from the meteor strike. That leaves him in disbelief and wondering if he's still dreaming. As Hibaru observes the wreckage, he spots the old shopkeep from his usual routes. Making his way over, he sees that the old man's shop is in tatters. As he and the old man stand side by side, witnessing the destruction, the old man reassures Hibaru that he is fine, stating that he'll keep on living one step at a time. Soon after, Hibaru waves the man goodbye and continues to follow Terasu, whom tells Hibaru that even he is keeping a brave face and that the old shopkeep has some problems to deal with, which confuses and makes Hibaru curious about the situation. Terasu then informs Hibaru that the ones to benefit the most from the crash were the Yasurugi's Hawk faction, whom took advantage of the situation, buying all available supplies for themselves and to make a profit on the black market, leaving no supplies for the locals. In addition to this, they took over the family headquarters for themselves. Upset by the news, Hibaru makes his way through the angry mob outside into the headquarters, which he sees a bunch of goons chilling carefree, drinking on the couch, just relaxing. Hibaru then yells and insults the thugs for what they have done to the locals, and in complete shock, the thugs tell Hibaru that they run headquarters and that he shouldn't even be there without their boss's permission. As one of the thugs starts to call for the boss, Terasu follows Hibaru into the building, where he sees Hibaru threatening the goons that if they don't let him in, he's gonna lay him out on the floor like pancakes. But Terasu then tells Hibaru to be careful since they have abilities as well. At which point, we are then taken to Shinjuku inside of a building where one of Hibaru's adopted siblings gets off the phone learning of the situation. The sibling informs Shio that Hibaru is alive, as well as we see Shio training to master his Astro, monologuing saying that the odds didn't look too good for him at the beginning, hearing the news of the successor. But he believes that the gods have chose him, causing the disaster to occur. The four-eyed sibling then notes that he has a powerful Astro, and with it, Shio can rule as he pleases. Shio then tells Four Eyes that both Terasu and Hibaru died in a meteor strike disaster, and that'll be the story. Back at headquarters, the goon who had called informs the group of the order to kill Hibaru and his allies, shocking the both of them. The Hawk faction then surrounds them, but makes the decision to move the altercation outside into their courtyard so that they don't make a mess of the place, where the goon with the X scar on his head displays his item and informs Hibaru about his wish, then reveals his colossal blade Astro that he wears on his right arm. Surprising them, Terasu then tells Hibaru that he's not the only one to receive an ability. which he pieces together, but the goons further boast their abilities and strengths as another one does the same, showing their armor Astro and noting that it is as durable as steel, spouting nonsense about rising through the ranks. As Tarasu tries to de-escalate the situation, the scarred goon attacks them both, saying that things have changed and that they're going to make a name for themselves. As Hibaru and Tarasu dodge the attack, Hibaru figures out how to activate his Astro and warns Tarasu to step back, saying that his fist is a bullet. The goon with the armored Astro confidently stands in front of Hibaru, taunting him that it won't even leave a scratch on him. Hibaru then tells the goon that if the wish he made him strong, then his wish comes with a kick, and as he charges up his right arm, he hits him with a barehanded magnum blast, fracturing his shell, sending him to the heavens, as well as shocking both Tarasu and the Hawk faction. Hibaru stares the faction down, asking if everyone else wants to smoke, while activating his Astro. Intimidated, the Hawk faction leaves, threatening Hibaru, but Hibaru shuts him down and gives them a message to pass on to Shio, saying that he, Hibaru Yosurugi, challenges him to settle things face to face, anytime, any place, and to stop picking on the helpless locals. After a few moments of the situation settling, the crowd of people start to cheer for Hibaru as he clarifies with Tarasu that this is what he meant in their earlier conversation by having convictions. As news spreads of what Hibaru had done, he and Tarasu go and check out the supply storage, surprised to see the room fully stocked. Tarasu asks Hibaru what he would do now with the supplies, and without a second thought, he then offers the supplies to the crowd of locals. But anxious to do anything, one of the locals asks what do they owe in return of the supplies, with another chiming in that some of the supplies look quite expensive. Spotting the old shopkeep from before, Hibaru calls him forth, telling him to give him the usual, which turns out to be a piece of candy. Gleefully, Hibaru tells the locals that the candy is more than enough as payment for the supplies and that they can help themselves. The crowd cheers happily, chanting Hibaru's name and lifting him up into the air, with Tarasu off to the side, worried of what's to come into the future, bringing the chapter to an end. With chapter 2 coming to an end, we now know that within the past 2 weeks, Shio has been running things for a bit, with his faction hogging all available supplies for themselves. After Hibaru learns of what's been going on, he springs into action to set things right. But Shio orders a hit on him, knowing that they would have to be eliminated for him to be next to lead the Yosurugi family. However, things turn out differently, with Hibaru and Tarasu retaking the family headquarters, in addition to sharing the stockpile supplies with the locals. Well, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider leaving a like or a comment on the video. I'll catch you on the next chapter. See ya.